Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can do the first two, Brent, and then sure. I'll kind of get into new business.
We'll open up to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. To review and approval of the minutes from November 13th, 2024.
Other than the misspelling of Mr. McDaniel's name and the October 14th at the top, I did not see anything else. So I would make a motion to approve it with those two changes.
Okay. Any discussion?
Second it.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm gonna stay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I abstain.
So passes.
Motion carries.
Yep.
New business.
Let me finish getting these notes down. All right. New business, we got before us two different variances in accordance to our ordinances. The documentation's all in the packet ahead of you, or in front of you there. The planning commission makes a suggestion to be passed on to the BZA board at 7 on whether these should be are good changes, or good variances, or bad variances. It's the way the code kind of allows it. Basically puts more eyes on it. So it's not a 5-person board. Essentially, you got 7 here, 2 carry over, to kind of give guidance to it. So we'll start with the Walnut Street, Mr. and Mrs. Schwartz's property in the packet before you. Matt, and they're here tonight. Matt's here, and so is Marshall for the State Road 1. Matt started to build a shed on his property. Complaint was called in to the office in regards to it being too close to the too close to the line or over the line. I did go out. Matt was working on the property when I got there. Asked if I could talk to him for a second. We talked through it. So it is zoned R4 in our code. An accessory structure, which is what a shed falls under, requires a 3-foot setback off the rear of the property and a 7-foot setback off the side of the property. Easily could tell that we weren't within the 7-foot. The back of the property, I think we're like 3.5, maybe 4. So it obviously meets there. But the side, I think, measured out to be right around 4 foot, 4 foot 2 or 6, someplace right in there. The drawing is in the packet as well that he copied to us. So essentially, the variance that he's requesting tonight with the BZA is that he's not required to move the shed, that we allow it to set at the 4 foot, right where it's built, which is essentially just over 4 foot, or right at 4 foot. So without stringing a line, it's hard to get an exact measurement. So that's why I'm saying that, it could be 3.8, it could be 4.4, 4.6. So I don't know if you guys went out and looked at it at all or not, but the recommendation we would give tonight would go to the BZA board as to whether they should approve his request or not based on our ordinances. You guys, we do not have to do a finding of fact here today. Tonight is just a recommendation. He does include in his packet a host of supporting letters from people next door and adjacent properties. But I don't believe you probably have the supporting letter from the neighbor directly with facts. Is that correct? Did they?
No.
Okay. So,
How did he feel about it? He didn't give you like all your other neighbors said, hey, that's okay, but this one, too.
He stopped out I think it was one Saturday, and we was discussing a little bit, and he didn't, I don't know if the complaint came after that or not, but at that time he said, well, I don't think you're in any trouble getting a variance, so he didn't seem to indicate that there was an issue, so I don't understand that.
He's the one closest then?
Yeah,
And this shed is not movable, correct?
It's on a slope, the ground is on a slope, and so I put a post in there so I could get the floor leveled up. So it makes it difficult. It's not a permanent foundation or a concrete foundation by any means.
I understand.
But it's leveled up, and it's very difficult to move and keep it level. And the other thing is to move it pushes me into my shrubs, and probably have to get some shrubs off. If you look on the flat there.
you guys have color pictures in your, that shows this.
Right.
That would be the west side of the
Yeah.
shed, it's right
Yeah.
against the shrubs already.
We got the PDF files.
Yep.
If this neighbor didn't like this, what would be the reason why he was uncomfortable with it?
I'm not sure.
I mean, does it clearly do something to his property?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. But everyone else is fine with it.
Well, I mean, it's already like almost 4 feet on my property, so I don't know that it affects anything on the property that's heat state, not that I'm aware of.
Who complained?
It came through the neighbor owner.
Okay.
The complaint came through as, the shed was on the property line.
Okay.
Obviously, when I get out there, it was not.
Right.
But that's where the complaint came from.
Okay. And is that person here?
I do not see them yet. I don't know that I know they're coming to the BZA for sure.
Okay.
I don't know that we're gonna make it to this one.
Okay.
Probably should, a motion to move it to the BZA and
With either an approval or, I mean, it goes to the BZA anyhow, it falls in.
No
within
matter
the-
what.
Yeah, so it's a matter of whether we feel it's would be a good waive or a waive that we should not do as a town. So that's really where we're at, is our recommendation to them is either a motion in support of leaving it or a motion in support of making them move it.
I'm all right with approving it.
My question is I went and looked at it, and of course, I didn't get out and measure things, but I was told by I think when you and I talked, it's close to 4 foot over the line, is that correct?
It's not over the line, it's on his property, 4 foot on his property.
Okay, I always mistake that. 4 foot too close to the easement.
It's 3 foot too close to the easement.
3 foot too close to
The
the
easement, yes.
for the side yard clearance.
For the side yard clearance. So the rear of the property is correctly placed, it's 3.5 feet at the
Okay.
closest point. The side yard, it is 3 foot too close. It's required to be 7,
Right.
it's 4.
All right. So when you came in to get your permit, didn't they tell you what the requirements were?
I didn't have a permit.
You didn't have a permit either.
I looked online.
Okay.
Trying to get the distances online.
And you still, at this point, at this time, have no permit, correct?
I asked if I was supposed to get one when I came in at that point, and nothing really was.
Said either way at that point, you're correct. I said we had to go through BZA, we were gonna figure it out as we went. But at this point, he stopped all work on it. So it's sitting, he hasn't done anything to it, to my knowledge. other than maybe winter it up so rain and stuff didn't get into it.
Well, I suggest one way or another, if we recommend and the BZA tells you that you have to move it, I would recommend still coming in to get a permit to keep it there. That would be my first recommendation. My recommendation is personally there's a reason we have these setbacks. It already sounds to me kind of like you didn't set it far enough away because of your landscaping. So you had a good idea what it was supposed to be. You just didn't do it because of the landscaping, correct?
We looked online and I thought we saw the three or the 3.5 foot.
Right.
And that's what we
Yeah.
tried to look it up online and that's where I thought we was at.
Okay. Well, you know, we need to uphold these setbacks, or we might as well take them off the books. So, open it up for more discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
I would, when you came in and asked about that, why would you have been told that you didn't need one? Did they tell you you didn't need one?
The permit,
Yeah,
just the weight, I think it was,
but,
just the weight.
so someone told you already?
He had already started construction, and we were already in the middle of this process.
Okay,
There's no sense in,
yeah,
you know,
That's when he stopped working.
yeah, we stopped work, he came in, filled out the paperwork, and nothing's been done since, and that we're waiting for this, and I agree that permits
yeah.
the right, if he, no matter which way, moving it or not, permits the,
Yeah, that-
the
that-
correct
that's
way.
my point, right.
So it appears, based on this drawing, the rear of your shed, what I'm assuming if this is true to north and south, the south west corner or southeast corner
Yes.
is within the setback range or
Yep.
no?
Yes, it is. Yep.
So it's just your front corner,
Yep.
Yeah,
you know, your.
Yes, front corner
northeast
probably to
corner.
someplace, you know, it's a 12-foot in length, I'm assuming, close to that shed, so I would assume that first 3 or 4 feet is probably not. And that used to be a driveway, is that correct? Kind of a,
Yeah, I think so.
And you have an alleyway behind you.
Right.
anybody have a recommendation?
I would just,
Well, it's gotta go to the BZA. but we
it's
have
gotta go to BZA,
Yeah.
yeah.
Either we vote, what we need to do is make a motion to vote.
Yeah, recommendation, a vote,
Yeah.
it'll be a motion of a recommendation on whether the BZA needs to ask him to move it or to leave it set.
Yeah. So approve it or not approve it, basically.
Yeah.
So whoever's running the meeting has to do it.
Yeah. Just- Anybody have any recommendation?
I'll recommend that we move it, or make a motion to move it to the BZA for,
With a recommendation?
with the recommendation, and based on their recommendation, whether it's approved or not.
Well, we have to make a decision in this meeting whether to move it or not. And we have to send that to.
It has to be moved,
Yes, to be, whether we're moving it or not.
yeah.
So whether our recommendation is that the homeowner moves it, then we'll send that to the BZA. or our recommendation is that they leave it sit, and we'll move that to BZA. And BZA has their own authority, so they can change. We're not a binding vote. All we're doing is saying that we've reviewed it, and we think that we know it has to go to them, but it needs to be, in our opinion, it needs to be moved or not. So,
I would still think it's all right to pass it to the BZ and say it's minor enough that it's all right. I mean, I'm still kind of leaning there. The only thing that does bother me a little bit is not getting the permit to begin with that sort of, that it's a lot of, that it's minor enough. I would just say, if they think it's all right. I'm not real strong on it, but I'm just saying, they think it's all right.
so your recommendation is that we pass it on, that that he's not forced to move it. Our recommendation is that. So,
But you guys have much more experience with all this than I do.
well, is there a second on that?
I'll second that. We approve it.
What is his recommendation?
That we recommend to the BZA that he leaves it set.
Okay. And you second it?
I will, yes. I'll second that.
Call for the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2. All right, let me finish my notes here, sorry. State Road 1. Marshall reached out to the town requesting an ILP to add, to remove her current deck on the front of her house and to add a deck with a gable out the front. I went out, met with her, discussed what was needed, what was going on, looked at the zoning. The property is currently zoned ag out there on State Road 1. Ag requires a 60-foot setback from a primary road. With that being said, her whole house needs to
My
move.
house isn't even 60 feet away from
Yeah.
the road.
So the whole house is 30 feet off the road. I think it's like 31 feet. Even if we were to zone it something else, that parcel something else, unfortunately she can't replace even the deck she has on the front of her house fully because she doesn't meet any of the setback requirements for any of the zoning classifications we have for our primary road. I think 30 is the least we have that you have. So with that being said, she asked, hey, what can I do to go ahead and improve my property to make it look correct, to bring it more up to date? And I said, well, we have to go through this process. So came in, filled
I asked
out.
all of this prior to applying for a
Yes.
permit,
Yeah.
so we.
Yes, so we all met, we met on site,
No work has been done.
Yep.
Started.
So, the contractor reached out to us and, said, hey, you guys gotta get this figured out. So, I did have a discussion with Brad Carnes, with, Regional Sewer District. They do have an easement that runs across there. In accordance to the drawing that she sent, and everything we can find, the deck is 1 foot off that easement, basically, that she wants to build. So it's just inside. That's the easement they own. They had a temporary easement that did extend basically just shy of the entire house. I mean, it was just but that temporary easement has expired. And that, when I talked to Brad about this, he was concerned that it still existed. Once we figured out it didn't, then he was good to go. I have a couple recommendations for BZA, but as far as this goes here, there's no other option than if we want to allow her to do anything to her house, she's gonna have to go through this process, unfortunately, every time, pretty much. So, just so you know, it's gonna cost you an extra couple $100 every time you go.
Anytime I want to do something else, so that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying I'm doing it all at once.
Yeah, so
Is that
So-
sewer easement an easement, or is it laid already?
it's already there.
It's
There's,
the high pressure line.
Yeah, there's two
it's
12-inch
the high pressure line that went off to
Already
the
done.
school.
yeah, that's already done. Yep. So,
Yeah.
So, again, Brad will be at BZA to further talk about that. But yes, that's already in, and the temporary easement, the additional for work has already been expired.
Did Brad by chance say how close his lines were?
So his lines are like 11 foot or 12 foot off. Well, I don't know how close his lines are. Their easement is 11 or 12 foot off. They said that he dug in the driveway at least once, probably since you guys have been there.
Yeah,
My guess is probably another 4 foot off the edge of that easement. I think they got like a
and it's
20.
farther than that. It's almost all the way to the power pole, to be honest.
Is it? Okay.
That's where they've done it before. So they have that easement right when the cliff comes off the side of State Road 1.
Yeah.
It's literally right there.
There, okay. So you,
Yeah,
you probably got
that's
10,
why it's
10 or
left
11 feet. Yeah.
That's why I can't have a concrete driveway either,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
You haven't, you're just moving?
No, I love the property. It's my favorite place. I didn't buy it for the house. I bought it for the yard.
To me, this is a no-brainer. I mean, in my opinion, I
Yeah, I would like to make a recommendation that we pass it on to BZA with our blessing.
and I would second that. I mean, if we want to continue to upgrade your house, we have to do something for them.
Yeah.
So, and this does definitely create a hardship if we don't. So,
Exactly.
Okay, you got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
So you still got one more hurdle to cross, but we're one step closer, right?
I got long legs.
Yeah.
You guys will all appreciate it. The house will finally be pretty. It's been an eyesore for a long time.
Oh. I knew the gentleman that owned it before you did.
I loved Ted.
Yeah.
Ted was a fantastic
I
human.
miss him.
Yeah, he was a fantastic human. Actually found all of his family heirloom photos in the attic just the other day.
Did you really?
I called a friend of mine that knew his son that lives in Florida and his daughter, son-in-law lives in Florida, that came and picked up the pictures because they were here for
Okay.
Thanksgiving.
I was gonna say, we
Yeah.
know where their family
Yeah.
lives in Turkey Lake.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
came and picked him up Thanksgiving break. Yeah.
All right. So the final thing is, I just want to give, first of all, as I said at the beginning, John Clendenin resigned his position on this board last week. So in the new year, when we meet again, we will be trying to find a new person to hold that position, and then be looking for a president of this board. Number two, the comprehensive plan update. Just want to give you guys a quick update on where we're at, since that technically runs through this board. We are, I would say, 2/3 or a little farther through the entire process. Anticipated completion date is still that first week of February. We're getting a lot of good data, a lot of what the community wants to see out of that. I'm excited to see where that's going to take us in the next 10 years. Hometown Initiatives has been doing a fantastic job of keeping us up to date. We have regular meetings with them. In fact, I think I have one this Thursday with them afternoon on this specific subject. The data coming back really shows that the community at a higher level wants to be able to stay connected, really wants to see current downtown area really cross connect into and farther into Cedarville. So that's exciting. There's many possibilities there, and we'll see where that goes. Like I said, overall it's going really smooth. I haven't really seen any hiccups. The group of people that we have on board to help facilitate that here that's met, I think they've met four times now. Community volunteers have really been good at driving some of these key factors home and running with the initiative well. So excited to see how this is going to wrap up, excited to see the end product. Should be seeing or having unveiled to this group sometime in December or early February. Should be seeing the final copies with a recommendation coming out of the town council to adopt it sometime early February to late February. So anybody have any direct questions as regards to that, in regards to that?
I just want to express my appreciation for the town council and all the leadership on that. It's just really exciting. I think progress is great. Appreciate your leadership too on the whole thing, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really on behalf of a grateful town.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Done a good job, Tyler.
trying,
Yeah,
so.
just,
It's been very, I will say that him and Scott Yoder have had a very challenging last 4 or 5 months, and I can say been there, done that too, and it is not easy. And especially with all this extra construction and the problems with some of the townspeople through the construction and different things, they've been a God blessing, so I appreciate it. So
Thank you.
I have one thing, if we're done with everything.
Yeah.
I would like to move our meeting night from Monday to I don't care when. I know Wednesday night's a church night around this community still. Tuesday night's fine with me. So far, we never know when we're going to have them anyway. This is, without any reason. I think you all know the reason I want to move it. So it's like, if we can do that, if we can come to an understanding between now and the first of the year, because we'll have to announce it. So,
I'm fine with whatever. I mean, Tuesday night, I think it's already a council night every other, so I don't see why we couldn't move it to that off night.
I agree.
Yeah. So obviously this is the off week for council, right? So we don't have any council meeting. We just want to move it to Tuesday evening, and if the 6 o'clock hour still works, or if you want to push it up a little bit, I don't know what works for you guys.
6 is good.
Six.
Do you really have that many meetings?
No, I think
Yeah.
we've met, 3 times in the last year, so,
yeah.
Yeah,
There was one year we met once.
yeah.
yeah.
So if you guys are
That's
good with
great.
that,
Whatever.
we can put it on the off week of the council meeting,
Right.
and
I'm okay.
that works out for you guys, that'd be great, so.
If we can pass that on to the BZA in case we have this kind of situation come up again where we can pass one thing and then,
Yeah.
move it on to the next
Well,
level.
that only makes sense, instead of getting people here twice.
I'll talk to the BZA
Right.
tonight, obviously, but,
Thank you.
we'll establish that Tuesday night meeting at 6 as long as we can get the BZA to go on board. So, there's nothing that says it has to be back to back, it just makes sense in a situation like tonight,
It does.
so.
It's better for the townspeople in the long run.
Right.
Are usually a lot of the town council members on the planning committee?
So there's only allowed to be 2 town council members on at a time, and then 2 staff members, so I think the town manager and you, right, were the 2 staff members, and then Greg and I are the 2 council members, and then there's 4 from the community, so Tim Richards, you 2, and then John Clendenin, so there's a total of 7.
And he's
Right.
resigning, so then.
So, and John resigned. I don't think Tina was on, I think it was you instead of Tina.
I think 10 of them.
She stepped down and you took it over as,
Okay.
because really, like tonight, I'm doing double duty, right? I'm taking notes and
Yeah.
trying to make sure everything goes right. And it's easier if you can just take notes, and I think that's why we had you step on board. So there's a total of 7 of us. So Tim Richards, Wayne, Jerry, John, and then 2 council members and a town representative.
Okay.
So
I don't have anything else. Anybody got anything else?
any information for you guys? We can close the meeting with them.
We'll adjourn the meeting.